My name's Oliver and I work for Annexe Planning, and we look after and undertake all the planning applications and planning work on behalf of iHuse. So just thought it'd be a good opportunity to provide you with an update on an application we received planning for last week. Now this site was located in Bromsgrove, but was sited within the Greenbelt. Now any new buildings, any new development usually is considered inappropriate in the Greenbelt and would be heavily resisted by the council. Now there are a few exemptions to this phrase inappropriate, and one of them is an extension to an existing building, as long as it's not disproportionate to the original property. Now Bromsgrove adopt this exemption, they adopt this approach, and they allow you to extend an existing dwelling up to 40% of the original footprint. Now before we submitted, we reviewed the planning history of the site and realised that over the years they'd had a number of planning applications approved and the house had been extended up to that 40% threshold. So before we submitted, we were able to identify that and relay that back to the applicant before we submitted the planning application, and inevitably got a refusal. But what next? Because obviously the applicant desperately wanted this annex, they needed it to provide care for a family member. Well, we come up with an alternative strategy using the mobile home route, the Caravan Act route. And we were able to look at the plans, adopt an approach that would perhaps fit the mobile home. We then submitted a certificate of lawfulness to the council to get their sign off that what we were proposing met the definition of a mobile home, and in fact didn't result in a change of use because they were using it ancillary to the existing residential use, obviously for a granny annex. Now great news, that certificate of lawfulness was granted, the applicant got their permission, and they were able then to move forward with the development and site a mobile home on their land to use as a granny annex for that family member which they desperately needed. So a great result, and we were able to identify that need right from the start before we submitted a planning application. So if your site is within the Greenbelt and you feel that there is no hope of getting an annex, please get in touch with iHuse or Annexe Planning, and we'd be happy to provide you with some advice and see if there's any alternative routes to obtaining an annex on your site.